What do you know about hip hop?
What do I know about hip hop? That was absolutely something else. Wow.
Holy fuck. That was intensely
I
wicked.
feel it. Like I actually felt it down my spine.
Yeah.
I got wiggly there for a
My
second.
name's Connor. I'm here with my dad.
Kevin?
Today we're doing To Pimp a Butterfly, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, Kid Cudi, Man on the Moon.
I gotta listen to that again.
I don't think I've ever heard anything like this before.
Man, crazy.
Wow, I am impressed. It's been a while since I found a new YouTube channel or podcast that has just really sucked me in and excited me enough to keep watching. Something that isn't clickbait or isn't trying to sell me anything. And I think Turning the Tables Dad React series is my new favorite show. Now, react videos on YouTube is nothing new. I mean, they can be fun, but a lot of times they're kind of gimmicky and over the top. But I think what Connor and Kevin did completely changes this whole format. And it makes it so interesting for me as a viewer to where I could watch it for hours. So I wanted to make this video to appreciate and sort of dissect what makes Dad Reacts so good. For those of you that don't know, Dad Reacts is a long-form YouTube series where Connor, the son, handpicks an album for his dad, Kevin, and they listen to it and react to it track by track. Now that may sound like a really simple premise, but what makes it so enthralling to watch? And I think it comes down to a few things. Firstly, I think part of it is Kevin's prior knowledge of music production. From what I've seen, I'm under the impression that Kevin has personal and professional experience in the music industry. And while he doesn't have any experience with hip-hop or some of the more contemporary music production styles, he still knows a lot about mixing, mastering, and writing music. And having that sort of prior knowledge gives Kevin a much deeper understanding of all the work that goes into these albums that he's never heard before. And not only that, but he can translate that knowledge to us, the viewers, who can then gain a deeper understanding and appreciation for all the music that Connor is showing us. And while we're on that topic, I think Connor's curation of these albums is a huge reason why this show is so successful and so interesting to watch. A lot of these albums Connor's grown up with and always listened to, and his understanding of pop culture and the influence these artists have had on music is pretty priceless when it comes to displaying this to a new audience. You can tell he's put a lot of thought into what albums he shows his dad and when and why. And he even goes far enough to give introductions to these albums, maybe explain something that was going on in the artist's life at the time of recording this album, to give his dad a more fuller experience of listening to the album.
Yeah, you have no idea of what he does musically or why he's such a significant person in the hip-hop culture.
And while we're on the topic of experience, I think the listening experience is another huge factor of why Dad Reacts is so good. I grew up listening to a lot of these albums, and I have a deep admiration for them. And while I'm really thankful for that, I wish I could be listening to these albums for the first time again. Because growing up, you hear things on the radio, you hear them, out and about, your friends play them out of context. You never really have that listening experience. And what I think makes this show so interesting is they sit down, they print out the lyrics, and they read along track by track, listing out the track title, looking at the album art, and really giving it their full attention, front to back. And I think that sort of experience can be lost nowadays, and frankly, it's exciting for me to watch Kevin have this experience for the first time. Which leads me to my next point, is it's thrilling watching someone experience these classic albums for the first time. Like I said, growing up with this music, a lot of times you don't get that first solid listening experience. And I would give so much just to be able to listen to some of these albums for the first time ever again. And us as viewers get to watch that happen with Kevin. And that sort of excitement rubs off on you. And it's almost like getting to experience these albums for the first time again. And I think that's a huge reason why I keep coming back to it. Because it's thrilling hearing these songs again and hearing someone react to it and be just as excited as you were back in the day, or maybe even gain new appreciation from it. I also think a huge factor of what makes the show so good is Kevin and Conor's relationship. Kevin is so open-minded to all the music Conor shows him, and Conor is putting himself in a very vulnerable place, showing and discussing these albums that have obviously had a huge effect on his life and his emotions, and talking about how it makes them feel.
He was one of the first rappers, at least that I know of, to really be just very raw and open with his feelings.
Okay, I'm excited for this one.
Yeah.
I'm glad that now people are talking about mental health, especially with men's mental health, because men just tend not to talk about it, right?
No, they tend to just kind of bury it.
It's an incredibly open-minded and vulnerable environment. And I think that's a really difficult thing to achieve on an online listening show. And I give the two of them mad respect for not holding back at all. Another great thing about their relationship is they're funny. You know, they're not afraid to crack jokes or go on some tangents sometimes.
I've got the black Converse on with no tie, so anyways.
And we both have no underwear, so that's one thing we have in unison.
That's true.
You can tell they're having fun with it, and when they're having fun, I'm having fun watching. And the final reason I love watching the show is the community and the discourse that they've built up around it. Using a platform like YouTube is a great opportunity to bring people in and ask them questions and recommend albums and make requests. And by the way they talk about their audience, they love hearing from them, and they read all the comments. They like engaging on different socials and stuff like that. And I think between all that, it builds up this really great supportive community of people that all share a love and appreciation for this music. As you can tell, I'm just a really big fan of the show, and I just want more people to watch it and appreciate it for what it is. While it's definitely entertaining, I think it's also eye-opening and inspiring, and it gives me a new appreciation for this music, and makes me feel like I'm listening to it again for the first time. It makes me want to share it with other people and see what they think, and hopefully they'll have the same reaction. And I also just really wanted to thank Kevin and Conor for making such a uniquely different show, one that's super fun and super vulnerable and super eye-opening and informative, and makes people excited about art and music. Overall, it's really just connected me with this music all over again. It makes these old songs feel new, and also makes me want to expand my horizons just like Kevin did. So thank you guys for putting yourselves out there and doing a great job. I look forward to many more curations and many more reactions.